Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Charottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Diri Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons. Text 18 onwards. Swasattvamenam parito vipashyan stambhasya madhyadan anu nirjihanam nayam mrigo napi naro vichitram aho kim et mrigendra rupam. So yesterday we saw how Hiranyakashipu, while trying to go and kill Prahlad Maharaj with his fist, he hit that pillar of the assembly of his palace, and Lord Nrsimhadev came out, and the description of Lord Nrsimhadev is given here. What did he look like? While Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find the source of the sound, and we heard how the sound was, it just penetrated all the universe. It was such a terrible sound. That wonderful form of the Lord, which could not be ascertained to be either a man or a lion, emerged from the pillar. In amazement, Hiranyakashipu wondered, what is this creature that is half man and half lion? A demon cannot calculate the unlimited potency of the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Vedas, Parasya Saktir Viviteva Suruyat, the different potencies of the Lord are always working as an automatic exhibition of his knowledge. For a demon, it is certainly wonderful that the form of a lion and the form of a man can be united, since a demon has no experience of the inconceivable power for which the Supreme Lord is called all-powerful. Demons cannot understand the omnipotence of the Lord. They simply compare the Lord to one of them because they think, oh, he's just one of us, maybe a little bit more powerful, that's all. But the Lord's potency is demons cannot understand, even devotees cannot understand. Of course, devotees appreciate all the powers of the Lord, but to what extent, how powerful he is, nobody knows. Mudas, rascals think that Krishna is an ordinary human being who appears for the benefit of other human beings. Fools, rascals, and demons cannot realize the supreme potency of the Lord, but he can do anything and everything. Indeed, he can do whatever he likes. So that's his independence. When Hiranyakashipu received benedictions from Lord Brahma, he thought that he was safe, since he received the benediction that he would not be killed either by an animal or by a human being. He never thought that the animal and human being would be combined so that the demons like him would be puzzled by such a form. This is the meaning of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's omnipotence. So Lord Nrsimhadev, he is completely independent, but he still wanted to satisfy all the conditions of the benedictions of Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is his devotee. So he wanted to satisfy all the conditions, but he still wanted to kill Hiranyakashipu. And that's also one of his beautiful reciprocations with his devotees, and he wants to do some extraordinary pastimes so that people will remember him, people will talk about him, people will worship him in this form. Just like Jagannath Ji. Today is in Jagannath Puri, it's Gundicha Marjan Day. But day before Gundicha Marjan is when Lord Jagannath gives darshan to the devotees after 14 days of no darshan. And then he gets painted. New paint is applied all over him. When he just now it's called Nav Yovan Darshan. And now where in the world we have heard of a deity getting bathed, and then he gets sick, then he gets painted, then now he's given darshan, and then tomorrow is a Rath Yatra for him. He just does. And his form, for those who don't have devotion, they cannot understand his form. No hands, no legs, big eyes, no ears. And all three brothers and sisters are like that. Like here in San Francisco, because in America, San Francisco, especially San Francisco, that place is very liberal place for hippies and liberals. So in the 60s, when devotees had established a temple and they took out Rath Yatra, and the main deity was Lord Jagannath. So Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. That was the main deity in the temple. And they took him on procession, Rath Yatra. So hippies are just different people. So one hippie came to a devotee, who is this black guy? He said, that's Jagannath, Krishna. Okay, who's the white guy? That's Balaram, his brother. Who's in the middle? That's Subhadra, his sister. So they all are brother sisters? Yeah, well, that's what I thought they look like. They look similar. And he just left. He didn't comment that, oh, it cannot be like that. It cannot. He just appreciated and left. But demons would have all their descriptions and whatever they want to call, but the Lord can appear in any form. And here the Lord appeared, half man, half lion. Who can understand this? And the devotees love this form. Like the deity behind me of Lord Nrsimhadev, he has butter in his hand, just like Krishna has, baby Krishna has. Laddu Gopal, he keeps the butter in his hand. This is all Lord Nrsimhadev has, butter in his hand, the butter ball. And also there's a deity of Lord Nrsimhadev in South. I'm forgetting the exact name of the deity. And it is said, and it has been proven also, anything that you put in the mouth of that deity, it comes out half. Half he takes and half comes out. Anything, whatever eatable you want to offer him, of course you offer through pujari, and half stays in and half comes out. So during when British were ruling India, so one British officer, he went and pujaris told him, this deity, this is what he does. And the British, of course, those who don't have faith, they'll say, no, it cannot happen. You guys are just superstitious. So Pujari said, no, don't say something like that here, because it's not a good thing to say. But the British, he thought he has all the powers, so he could do anything. So he said, it's all superstition. Let me check. So he put his hand in the mouth of the deity. And true to his word, only half the hand came out, half the hand was gone. And obviously, then he developed faith. So this is Lord Nrsimhadev. He has his own pastimes, he has his own qualities that he likes to display. And here Lord Nrsimhadev is appeared in front of Hiranyakashipu. Mimans manasya samuttito agrato nrsimha rupastadalam bhayanakam pratapta chamira kachanda lochanam surata sata keshara jarimbitananam karala danstram karvala chanchala क्षुरांत जिह्वम भ्रिकुटी मुखोल बणम स्तब्धोर्व कर्णम गिरिकंदराद्भुत व्यात्तास्य नासम अनुभेद भीषणम दिवि स्पृशत Kayam Dirgha Pivar Grivor Vaksha Sthalam Alpa Madhyamam Chandrashu Goresh Churitam Tanuru Hair Vishwag Bhujani Kashatam Nakayudam Durasadam Sarva Nijetara Yudha Pravek Vidra with Datyar Danavam. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nrsimhadev standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold. His shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dwelling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. So he killed the demons with his conch shell also. Normally he doesn't, but here it's a lotus also. But this was the form of the Lord. Prayana me ayam harinororumayina padasmritvanena samudyattena kim evam brahmanstva bhaya patad gadayudho nadana nrisimam prati datya kunjaraha. Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself, Lord Vishnu, who possesses great mystic power, has made his plan to kill me. But what's the use of such an attempt? Who can fight with me? Thinking like this and taking up his club, Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord like an elephant. In the jungle, there are sometimes fights between lions and elephants. Here the Lord appeared like a lion. He is Nrsimhadev. And Hiranyakashipu, unafraid of the Lord, attacked him like an elephant. Generally, the elephant is defeated by the lion, and therefore the comparison in this verse is appropriate. And also, one thing we have to appreciate about Hiranyakashipu, he was a demon, but he was not a coward. Although he saw Lord Nrsimhadev standing before him, looked very fearsome, Hiranyakashipu did not run away. He attacked the Lord. And that was the plan of the Lord also with Jay and Vijay, because he had this desire to fight, and who could fulfill his desire except the devotees? So now the fight starts. Alakshito agno patita patangamo yatha nrsimho jasi so asuras tada natad vichitram khalu sattva dhamani so tejasa yonu purapibat tamaha. Just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire and the insignificant creature becomes invisible, when Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord who was full of effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible. This is not at all astonishing, for the Lord is always situated in pure goodness. Vasudeva Sattva, or Shuddha Sattva. Formerly during creation, he entered the dark universe and illuminated it by his spiritual effulgence. The Lord is situated transcendently in pure goodness. The material world is generally controlled by Tamoguna, the quality of ignorance, but the spiritual world, because of the presence of the Lord and his effulgence, is free from all contamination by darkness, passion, or contaminated goodness. Although there is a tinge of goodness in this material world in terms of the Brahmical qualifications, such qualifications sometimes become invisible because of the strong prevalence of the modes of passion and ignorance. But because the Lord is always transcendently situated, the material modes of passion and ignorance cannot touch him. Whenever the Lord is present, there cannot be any darkness from the mode of ignorance. So when he saw, Hiranyakashipu saw the Lord, and Lord was effulgent. And Shukdev Goswami or Narad Muni here is saying that Hiranyakashipu was just lost, could not see him. And we can only understand how big Lord Nrsimhadev must be. That Hiranyakashipu looked like just an insignificant insect in front of him. So it is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Apidas. Godhead is light, essence is darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is no essence. This material world is full of darkness and ignorance of spiritual life. But by Bhakti Yoga, this ignorance is dissipated. The Lord appeared because of the Bhakti Yoga exhibited by Prahlad Maharaj. And as soon as the Lord appeared, the influence of Hiranyakashipu's passion and ignorance was vanquished as the Lord's quality of pure goodness or the Brahman effulgence became prominent. In that prominent effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible, or his influence became insignificant. So this is what we actually want. We pray to the Lord to please appear in our heart. And when he appears there, by his presence, all this mode of passion and ignorance will just run away. It won't be there. And wherever the Lord is going to kill Hiranyakashipu, so please kill this Hiranyakashipu, the demon of all these material desires within our heart. In that prominent effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible, or his influence became insignificant. An example illustrating how the darkness of the material world is vanquished is given in the Shastra. When Brahma was created from the lotus stem growing from the abdomen of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Lord Brahma saw everything to be dark. But when he received knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything became clear. As everything becomes clear when one comes from night to sunshine. The important point is that as long as we are in the material modes of nature, we are always in darkness. This darkness cannot be dissipated without the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is invoked by the practice of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga creates a transcendental situation with no tinges of material contamination. So that kind of presence of the Lord is what we want. And obviously, wherever the Lord is, ignorance, darkness, material modes of passion and ignorance, or even good material goodness cannot exist. It will all become Shuddha Sattva, Vasudev platform, pure goodness. But our problem is, although the Lord appeared because of his love for his devotee, for that kind of devotional service Prahlad Maharaj performed. But our problem is, our service, our devotional service is not up to that mark yet. So we are still struggling in passion and ignorance. Sometimes we come to goodness, and probably for very little time in pure goodness, but mostly in passion and ignorance. So we have to keep on praying, continue praying to the Lord to kindly appear in my heart. My heart is also like a pillar of stone. It's so hard. It's only when Lord Nrsimhadev appears in that, he can break that stone pillar, smash it to pieces, and just appear. Tato abhipadyabhya hanan mahasuro rusha narsimam gadayor urvegeya tam vikram antam sagadam gadadharo mahorakam tarkshyasuto yatha grihita. Thereafter, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, who was extremely angry, swiftly attacked Nrsimhadev with his club and began to beat him. Lord Nrsimhadev, however, captured the great demon along with his club, just as Garuda might capture a great snake. So, capturing Hiranyakashipu, who was, for ordinarily people, he was huge, he was big, and along with his club, Lord Nrsimhadev just captured him. Satasya hastot kalitastad asasuru vikridito yadvad hir garutmatah asadvam anyanta ritokaso amara ghanachada bharat sarvadhishnayapa. O Yudhishthir, O great son of Bharat, when Lord Nrsimhadev gave Hiranyakashipu a chance to slip from his hand, just as Garuda sometimes plays with the snake and lets it slip from his mouth, the demigods who had lost their abodes and who were hiding behind the clouds for fear of the demon did not consider that incident very good. Indeed, they were perturbed or they were disturbed. When Hiranyakashipu was in the process of being killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, the Lord gave the demon a chance to slip from his clutches. This incident was not very much appreciated by the demigods, for they were greatly afraid of Hiranyakashipu. They knew that if somehow or other Hiranyakashipu escaped from Nrsimhadev's hands and saw that the demigods were looking forward to his death with great pleasure, he would take great revenge upon them. Therefore, they were very much afraid. So Lord Nrsimhadev is also playing with Hiranyakashipu, just like also if you remember when Varahadev was fighting with Hiranyaksha, he also played with him for a while. So here Lord Nrsimhadev is also playing with Hiranyakashipu. He let him slip from his hand. And to see all the demigods, they were hiding behind the clouds, but they were looking at this fight because they wanted Hiranyakashipu to be killed so that they could get their palaces, their positions, their planets back. But they all got afraid when he got slipped out of the hands, and they all hid behind the clouds again. But not Prahlad Maharaj. He was standing right there with folded hands, looking very lovingly at Lord Nrsimhadev. He was not afraid. So the demigods were afraid. Tam manya mano nij veere shankitam yadhasta mukto nri harim mahasura punastama sajjat khag charmani pragriya vegena gatashramom mridhe. When Hiranyakashipu was freed from the hands of Lord Nrsimhadev, he falsely thought that the Lord was afraid of his prowess. Therefore, after taking a little rest from the fight, he took up his sword and shield and again attacked the Lord with great force. So Hiranyakashipu thought that, Lord, just let me go, because he was afraid of my power. He will understand the reality very soon. When a sinful man, Prabhupada here explains something that applies to all of us to understand why Lord does that sometimes. When a sinful man enjoys material facilities, foolish people sometimes think, how is it that this sinful man is enjoying whereas a pious man is suffering? By the will of the Supreme, a sinful man is sometimes given the chance to enjoy the material world, as if he were not under the clutches of material nature, just so that he may be fooled. A sinful man who acts against the laws of nature must be punished, but sometimes he is given a chance to play, exactly like Hiranyakashipu when he was released from the hands of Nrsimhadev. Hiranyakashipu was destined to be ultimately killed by Nrsimhadev. But Just to see the fun, the Lord gave him a chance to slip from his hands. So that is also one of the reasons he allows sinful people to enjoy or seemingly enjoy the facilities. And they think, oh, I have defeated the Lord, or there is no Lord, and I can do whatever I want to do. And since they think I was not punished, means whatever I did was right. It's just the Lord is playing with them, or the material nature is playing with them for a while. That's all. Tamashen vegam shatachandra vartamabhish charantam ichhadram upariyadho harihi kritva attahasam karam utsvanola banam nimilik litaksham jagrihe mahajavaha. Making a loud, shrill sound of laughter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, who was extremely strong and powerful, captured Hiranyakashipu, who was protecting himself with the sword and shield, leaving no gaps open. With the speed of a hawk, Hiranyakashipu moved sometimes in the sky and sometimes on the earth, his eyes closed because of fear of Lord Nrsimhadev's laughter. We can just only imagine this fight. And he was moving everywhere, sometimes in the air, sometimes on earth, here, there, everywhere. But his eyes were closed because of fear. Vishvaksfurantam granaturam harir vyalo yakhakum kuli shakshatvacham dvaryuram upatya dadare lilaya nakhara yathahim garudo mahavisham. As a snake captures a mouse or Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nrsimhadev captured Hiranyakashipu, could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of King Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here and there and all around, very much afflicted, had been captured, Lord Nrsimhadev placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs. And in the doorway of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hand. Wow. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adutta Shringam. So same hands which are very blissful, or it gives blessings to the devotees. With the same hands, he just tore open Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had received from Lord Brahma the benediction that he would not die on the land or in the sky. Therefore, to keep the promise of Lord Brahma intact, Lord Nrsimhadev placed Hiranyakashipu's body on his lap, which was neither land nor sky. Hiranyakashipu had received the benediction that he would not die either during the day or at night. Therefore, to keep this promise of Brahma, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in the evening, which is the end of day and the beginning of night, but is neither day nor night. So Hiranyakashipu did not ask for this benediction, that not even in the evening or dawn. He just said, no day, no night. Okay. And that is why we keep the fasting on Narsingh Chaturdashi till the time of dusk. Hiranyakashipu had taken a benediction from Lord Brahma that he would not die from any weapon or be killed by any person, dead or alive. Therefore, just to keep the word of Lord Brahma, Lord Nrsimhadev pierced Hiranyakashipu's body with his nails, which were not weapons and were neither living nor dead. Indeed, the nails can be called dead, but at the same time, they can be said to be alive. So our nails grow, so that way they can be alive, but they don't do anything else. So they can be called dead. To keep intact all of Lord Brahma's benedictions, Lord Nrsimhadev paradoxically but very easily killed the great demon Hiranyakashipu. And also Hiranyakashipu's one of the condition of benediction by Brahmaji was that he would not be killed inside a building or outside the building. So that's why in the shloka it says, Lord Nrsimhadev brought him the doorway of the assembly. So in the doorway, it's neither inside nor outside, it's just in the middle. So this is how Lord Nrsimhadev, he just fulfilled all the conditions of the benedictions. Saram dushprekshya karal lochano vyatanantam vilihans vajivya asrigal asriglavakta runakesharanano yathantra mali dvip hatyaya harihi. Lord Nrsimhadev's mouth and mane was sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimhadev, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that has just killed an elephant. Wow. The hair on Lord Nrsimhadev's face, being sprinkled with the drops of blood, was reddish and looked very beautiful. Lord Nrsimhadev pierced Hiranyakashipu's abdomen with his nails, pulling out demons' intestines, and wore them as a garland, which enhanced his beauty. Thus the Lord became very fearsome, like a lion engaged in fighting an elephant. So beautiful he looked. And he took out the intestines of Hiranyakashipu and put them around as a garland, as a sign of victory. Nakhang kurot patit hrit saroruham visrijya tasyanu charanu dayudha ahan samastan nakh shastra pani bhir dor dand yutho anupatana sahasrasha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had many forms, first uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart and then threw him aside and turned towards the demon's soldiers. He just threw him aside like a worthless piece of crap. These soldiers had come in thousands to fight with him with raised weapons and were very faithful to followers of Hiranyakashipu. But Lord Nrsimhadev killed all of them merely with the ends of his nails. He just moved his hand around and the ends of the nails, he just killed all the demon soldiers. And just imagine, these soldiers were the ones, and along with Hiranyakashipu, they had defeated all the demigods. And Nrsimhadev just killed them by the just tip of his nails. Since the creation of the material world, there have been two kinds of men, the Devas and the Asuras. The Devas are always faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the Asuras are always atheists who defy the supremacy of the Lord. At the present moment, throughout the entire world, the atheists are extremely numerous. They're trying to prove that there is no God and that everything takes place due to combinations and foundations of material elements. Thus, the material world is becoming more and more godless, and consequently, everything is in a disturbed condition. If this continues, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will certainly take action, as he did in the case of Hiranyakashipu. Within a second, Hiranyakashipu and his followers were destroyed. And similarly, if this godless civilization continues, it will be destroyed in a second, simply by the movement of one finger of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demons should therefore be careful and curtail the godless civilization. They should take advantage of the Krishna consciousness movement and become faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, they are doomed. As Hiranyakashipu was killed in a second, the godless civilization can be destroyed at any moment. So just like Prabhupada is saying, so at present situation, so many demonic mentality, godless people, societies, communities are there, and they just don't believe in God. They just don't believe in serving God. They don't believe in serving the creation of God. So to destroy that, and as Prabhupada says, Lord Nrsimhadev will certainly take action. And looks like this corona pandemic is part of his actions. We were really becoming more and more godless. Of course, people have still not learned their lesson. But in the process, so many people died. Of course, I'm not saying all of them were demons or godless or sinful. But so many people have died, and not just died, the economy of the whole world has gone upside down. The communities, societies, so many businesses ran into losses. And it has just created havoc all over the world. But this is what happens when we become godless. Satavadhuta, Jalada Parapatan, Grihascha Tar Drishti Vimushta Rochisha, Ambhodhya Shwasahata, Vichukshubur, Nirhadavita, Digibha Vichrukshu. The hair on Nrsimhadev's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of the luminaries in the sky, and his breathing agitated the seas and oceans. Because of his roaring, all the elephants in the world began to cry in fear. So this is how powerful he was. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yadyat Vibhuti Mata Sattvam, know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. The illumination of the planets and stars in the sky is but a partial manifestation of the Lord's effulgence. There are many wonderful qualities of different living entities, but whatever extraordinary things exist are but part and parcel of Lord's stages, part of Lord's stages. His illumination of brilliance, the deep waves of seas and oceans, and the many other wonders within the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead all become insignificant when the Lord, in his special features, incarnates within this material world. Everything is insignificant in comparison to his person, all defeating transcendental qualities. So everything is insignificant. It's just a spark of the splendor of the Lord. And the Lord looked great in that situation or position. And he has killed Hiranyakashipu, he has killed the soldiers, and now his head shook and shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. So I think I'll stop here today. I'm feeling tired. So we'll stop here. But I also wanted to say that tomorrow, or in India on 10th, is the Gundicha Marjan Day, and 11th is Rath Yatra. So Gundicha Marjan is celebrated by cleansing of the temple of Gundicha, where Lord Jagannath will come and stay there for 7-8 days before he goes back. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his associates to welcome the Lord at Gundicha and to make sure the place is perfect for the Lord to come and stay there. So him and his associates, they cleanse the whole temple. First they took out the dust, thicker dust and thinner dust, and he wiped it clean, and then they washed the temple, bringing the water from Narendra Sarovar nearby. So wonderful ceremony or this pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Till today, it is a tradition now. Every year before Rath Yatra, day before Rath Yatra, everybody, all the devotees go there to Gundicha temple and clean it. And by mercy of Lord Jagannath, we have had many such opportunities to clean that temple, and not just that temple. There is a nearby Lord Narasimhadev temple also that we got to clean, and it is it's a Shant Narasimha deity, but behind that Shant Narasimha deity, there's a very Ugra Narasimha deity. And pujaris, sometimes they become very merciful. They let us take darshan of that Ugra Narasimha also. So we can follow that tradition. At least we cannot go to the Jagannath Puri temple. If we can go to any temple nearby, great. Otherwise, we should just clean the altar in our house and clean the house nicely, thoroughly, keeping up with the tradition of cleansing of temple of Gundicha. Okay, so I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.